Beautiful people, beautiful people. Okay, I caught Heather. I caught Heather Miller. I caught you. Not even on the screen. I caught you dancing. I caught you. And Chris, I got you too. Uh-huh. And Gene, you didn't get away. You didn't get away. Hey Kevin. Yeah, you were dangling that right foot, Kevin. Welcome to the Zoom. We're going to get started here momentarily. Give me just a moment here. Let's get things switched over. Do. John, did you want to come on this side, buddy? Did you want to have anything to say? Hey, Steve and Joseph and Doris and Bob. Good evening to you all. Gloria and Doris, give us a moment. Hey, buddy. How you doing, sir? You should be unmuted on my side.
Doing great. How are you?
I'm wonderful. You want to come on this side, my friend?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Sure. All right. You should be over here or at least on your way. Give us a moment, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll get things up and running here. John's been working from a beautiful PowerPoint on Tuesday nights, and I've not used that PowerPoint yet, but we're gonna do it tonight, at least portions of it. Give us a moment here. Do. All right, beautiful people, beautiful people. Waiting for John to get over here on the panelist side. Give me just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. John, you here with me, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Ah, there we go. There we go. Well, I tell you what, let's go on. We did a few introductions. We'll attempt to acknowledge as many of you as we can. Once we get things up and running here, we're just about to get started. This is our Thursday night Zoom. This is where we do a deep dive into the $1 billion mind generational wealth plan, which is really, this is a donation fundraising plan. And so we want to help all of our members that desire to raise a ton of money for projects that are very dear to you. And so that's what we're going to be talking about on this evening, how you can begin raising funds, and then in time, perhaps even start building generational wealth. John, is there anything that you want to share before we get things going?
No, I'm working with the programmers here for a minute.
Okay. All right. Okay. So Andrew, let's go on and get started, Angie. $1 billion Mind is a vision of faith, health, and wealth. Now, I really want to dig deep into this model, this fundraising, this donation model that really is designed to help our folks raise millions upon millions collectively. Okay, perhaps even a lot more than that. Now, for those of you that are new to us, maybe you're a guest here and you know little to nothing about $1 billion Mind. I do want to talk just a little bit about our unique, I like to call this our UVP, our unique value proposition. And what is that? Well, in this make money online space, this make money online niche, okay, you have a lot of great companies out there. Um, but the problem is most companies put the cart before the horse. What's the cart? Well, the cart is the actual opportunity itself, the ability to generate additional revenue, whether it's a little bit or whether it's a lot. The horse, the driver is how do we think? Because as a man or a woman thinks in his or her heart, so are we. So we focus on applying universal laws so that we can effect true lasting transformation. Now, one of the major laws that we talk about is the law of faith, the universal law of faith. And it has four major components. Number one, gratitude. So the four keys of faith: gratitude, a great attitude determines how high we're going to fly. Gratitude, even in difficult times, is required. Number two is vision. Without vision, people perish. We want to write the vision. We want to make it plain. We have to write the vision if we're going to manifest that vision. And then number three is heart. Heart. And this is where John, who you just heard, for those of you who are visiting with us, the developer of the platform, this man's changing my life. I got a phone call today from one of my sons. We spoke for about an hour. And I don't know, maybe 2 months ago, maybe 2.5 months ago, when John started really sharing these principles of faith. And one of the things that we do is we take time out. I love John's guided meditation. I take time out each morning. This has become a part of my life now, and I sit in the feeling of what it will feel like once my dreams are accomplished, once my vision is attained. And one of the things 2, 3 months ago that I wrote down as my vision was my relationship with my children, really deepening, and those relationships really firing more firing on all cylinders. And so that's happening as a result of the unique value proposition. All right. That's got nothing to do with money, but that's worth to me a lot more than money. But tonight we're going to focus on the money. Okay. And then number four, affirmations. Affirming our desires are already fulfilled. So that's our unique value proposition. On Sunday nights, we go a lot more into detail about these universal laws, the four keys of faith, as well as other universal laws. That'll be on Sunday nights. Now, so for a vision to come to fruition, we need to have provision. Faith without works, a proverb says, not a proverb, but in the book says, faith without works is dead. And so we need to plant some seeds. We need to plant some seeds. And so this is what we're going to do with this particular model. Now, there's another law. We've talked about it the last couple of Sunday nights. We're going to have another lesson on it this coming Sunday night. We call it the law of unity. This is where, synergy, there's something that happens that we can't see that takes place. So John shared this a few weeks ago. If you take one horse, let's say that one horse can pull 1,000 pounds of whatever, okay? And then let's say you add another horse, and on its own, it can pull 1,000 pounds of whatever, okay? Well, you would think if you link those two horses together, one can do 1,000 pounds, this other one can do 1,000 pounds, they would pull 2,000 pounds together. That's not the case. They wind up pulling 3, 4, 5,000 pounds. There's something that takes place that you and I can't see, a universal law in play, that when we come together in unity, things happen that are even supernatural. So most folks have been working alone. And what we want to do here at Billion Dollar Mind is we want to employ and act the law of unity. Okay. Now, we talked about our platform is a platform that's designed to help you raise funds for projects that are near and dear to you. I went to GoFundMe and I wanted to see what some people were raising funds for. Here's this young lady, Lonnie. Lonnie was having a very difficult time. She was having a really tough time. I don't have time to read it here, but you can skim through it as I'm sharing with this. And on the GoFundMe platform, she's raised $81,000. And look at what she raised funds for. The platform, the post said, hey, help her not get evicted. So it's not like she's trying to cure world hunger. This is something that's specific, that's personal to Lonnie. And yet, look at the number of donations. 4,200 donations have come in. The person who organized this for Lonnie was simply trying to raise $20,000. They've raised $81,000. Wow. And look at this. Here's somebody who did a $5 donation. Here's somebody, an anonymous person, did a $500 donation. And collectively, synergy, 81,000 has been raised. Now, I'll tell you why a platform like GoFundMe probably won't work for the average person. See, it's likely that Jimmy Darts, who put this together, Jimmy Darts probably has a lot of influence. Maybe he's a social influencer, maybe he's got a big Facebook following or Instagram following or YouTube following or what have you. Most of the folks that raise a lot of funds on platforms like GoFundMe have large followings. The average person without that type of following usually won't raise anything close to this, if anything at all. And that's one of the reasons that Billion Dollar Mind has our donation fundraising platform, which can be a generational wealth building platform. Let's take a look at Erica. Now, Erica definitely has a huge why. Young mom, here are her two children. Unfortunately, a very bad diagnosis. And prayerfully, we send Erica love and peace and healing. Hopefully, things will work out so she can be here for her kids. She was looking to raise 5,000, folks. Look at what she's raised. 1.1 million. 665 folks have donated, anywhere from as low as $5. Here, the largest donation was a $5,000 donation. $1.1 million. Again, I don't know Erica. I don't know her full story. For her to have raised $1.1 million, it's likely that either she or maybe she's connected with someone who's maybe a social influencer, someone who's got a large following, and they've helped to get the word out. Since that is not most people, we need a little assistance. We need a little help. And this is where Billion Dollar Mind is also coming into play. And I wanted to show one last one. We got to do one for the doggies here, all right? So someone needs urgent help for their dog Sprinkles. So listen, I want you to be thinking as we go through this, what is the project or projects with an S that you want to raise funds for? And listen, you might hear John talk about he's looking to raise funds to do a lot more in a work that he's been working on for years, and that's supporting orphanages, typically in countries that are not considered the more industrial first world. I don't like using third world. I don't like using that terminology, but countries that they don't have all the infrastructure. They don't have all the stuff. All right, that some of the countries like the U.S. or Canada or Australia or Britain may have. It doesn't have to be that. This person was concerned about their puppy, their dog. Okay, they're raising money for the dog to have a surgery, and they've raised $7,700, 107 donations. All right, a top donation. Look, a couple people here did $1,000 to help out with the dog. All right, so now the problem is that most of us, again, most people don't have a large enough influential network where someone can maybe make a post on IG, Instagram, or on X, Twitter, or on Facebook, or the various social media outlets. A lot of people don't have a large email list, if they have an email list at all. All right, so how does the average person position themselves so that they could raise thousands, tens of thousands, perhaps even millions, perhaps even generational wealth? That is what we're going to talk about over the next few moments. So let's talk about our generational wealth donation plan. Let's give you a few highlights here. First off, it's very important to know, and this is what makes what we're doing legal. There is no obligation. There is no obligation to donate. Okay? There is no obligation to donate. However, should you donate, And should you have others as we help you to build, now you got to you got to have some want to. You got to have some want to, okay? As we help you build a donation slash fundraising network, 80% of each donation is paid out to one person. 20% remains with the company. That allows us to cover overhead, to grow this, all right, and to assist you in building your own individual fundraising and donation networks. There's also some charities that the company will give to as well, okay? Donations or the payouts from donations are available to the recipients immediately from our DeFi crypto wallet. So let's say that someone makes a donation to you because you got your project, whatever your project happens to be, they make a donation, you get 80% of that donation, and that is going to be available to you where you can go and withdraw that to your own crypto wallet. Now, here are the donation plans. And so here's what I want you thinking. All right. What I want you thinking is you're going to hear us talk about universal laws. You're going to hear us talk about eternal truths and eternal principles over and over and over and over and over again. Well, our donation plan, our generational wealth donation plan, is once again leveraging a universal law. Whether you want to call it the law of the harvest, some people call it the law of sowing and reaping. It goes like this. We reap what we sow. 2, we got to sow to reap. 3, when we reap more than what we sow. Now, each of these plans is independent of each other. So there is the $10 plan, the $50 plan, the $100 plan. And notice that when someone donates to one of these plans, when someone does a $250 donation, 200 of that is getting paid out to one person, 80%. When someone donates $2,500 to the $2,500 plan, 2,000 of that goes to one person that's in the donation fundraising network. Okay. Same thing with all of these other plans. So ultimately, for those of us that want to maximize the plan, we want to ultimately donate to each and every one of these plans. Will you come off the street donating to each and every one of these plans? Likely not. If you've got the resources, it's not going to hurt your family, go for it. But likely not. Okay. So I want you to be thinking about what is your donation budget. I'm going to share with you what I believe is the sweet spot, and then I'll share why I believe that is the sweet spot. But these are the donation plans. We'll come back to this in just a few moments. Okay. All right. Now, here's something that's really huge about our platform. Years ago, when Bitcoin was in its real infancy stage, John, who you heard earlier, was introduced to Bitcoin when Bitcoin was going for 5 cents. A few months ago, Bitcoin hit an all-time high at 72,000. Well, John's buddy implored him, John, get some Bitcoin, man, get some Bitcoin, buy some Bitcoin and just sit on it. Let's see what this thing is going to do. Now, John had the resources to do so, but he didn't. But if he had bought $1,000 worth of Bitcoin when Bitcoin was 5 cents and just sat on it, he would have bought 20,000 Bitcoin way back then. Now, let's say that he had held on to it. He didn't. He didn't buy the $1,000 worth at a nickel. But let's say he had held on to it. When it got it to its high of 72,000 just a few months ago, that $1,000 purchase of Bitcoin would have been worth 1.4 billion plus. Now, for me, I found out about Bitcoin when Bitcoin was going for 515, August of 2014. I purchased my first Bitcoin for $515. I was actually promoting for a platform that paid us in Bitcoin. And so as I was earning commissions, a little fractions of Bitcoin. Well, the thing is, I didn't see it. So when I got with that particular platform, Bitcoin started going down from 515 down to 400, 300, 200. I think it got down to $166. I just didn't get it. Okay. Ultimately, Bitcoin came back to 500, then 1,000, then 20,000, came down, went back up, came down, went back up. And um, because I didn't get it, I didn't really go for it with that model. So when I got paid in Bitcoin, because I had more immediate cash flow needs, I converted my Bitcoin into usable, spendable cash. Meanwhile, one of the guys that I referred to that particular model, he got it. And even though I pretty much stopped promoting that model, he didn't. He went for it. And in 4 years' time, he became a multimillionaire. When he reached out to me to tell me that news on Facebook, he said, "Hey, I wanted to thank you." I said, "Thank you for what?" He said, "Because of you, I'm a multimillionaire." Bitcoin was going for about $17,000 a Bitcoin at the time. It's more than triple that now. I said, "How did you become a multimillionaire?" He said, "Because of that project you introduced me to and the Bitcoin that I earned, and I didn't have to convert it all. I didn't have to spend it all." So he was able to build up um, a, a, a treasure chest of Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin, the best returns for Bitcoin have come and gone. We're not going to see it go down, likely. Won't see it go down to 5 cents anymore. It's up in the 60,000 range now. But there is an asset called Flare. Now, interestingly enough, John, the one that missed the 5 cent Bitcoin train, when he started understanding what was going on with Flare, and he's got a family member that has worked very intimately with the Flare project. So he knows a lot about Flare. His loved one knows a lot about Flare. And so John said, okay, let's do something that goes beyond just a fundraising donation platform. Let's do it so that Flare comes in our system and Flare comes out of our system. In other words, when there is a donation, it's made in Flare. When there is a payout, it's made in Flare. And why is that important? Because Flare is less than 2 cents right now. But some say Flare will get up to 40,000 or more. Now, I don't know that it'll ever get there. What I want to help you do, what we want to help you do here at Billion Dollar Mind, is we want to help you accumulate millions of these Flare tokens beyond what you need to convert into usable, spendable cash. So we know that most people have cash flow needs now. We want to help you address those. But we also want you to be able to ultimately, perhaps, all of my disclaimers, develop generational wealth. So my target is I want to see you get at least 5 to 10 million Flare that you don't have to convert to usable, spendable cash. If Flare goes to $1, not 40,000, that's 5 to 10 million in value. If Flare goes to $4, not 40,000, and you're sitting on 5 to 10 million Flare, you're talking 20 to 40 million, you're talking generational wealth. Okay? All right, so now let's talk about something that's really special about our platform. We call it no loss payouts. So usually in our industry, when you have a platform that has multiple areas where one could enter, someone could start off with a $10 donation. Someone could start off with a $20,000 donation, and you've got all these donation plans in between. Okay. Usually what happens is, let's say someone started off, let's say $1,000 a donation plan. Okay. Good donation plan there. Usually what would happen is if somebody that they referred to Billion Dollar Mind went ahead of them, and let's say they did a $5,000 donation plan, usually the one who did the 1,000 would lose this payout. They would not be qualified for the payout. Let me do this real quickly, get rid of all of those. All right, so the one who did the 1,000 would usually miss out on this payout right here. Why? Because they didn't do the 5,000 plan. Okay. John said, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. Here's what we're going to do. We want folks to have no loss payouts. Now, because we want to stay within the universal law of the harvest that says, hey, we reap what we sow. Well, this person who got started with $1,000 plan has not sown 5,000 yet. Got to sow to reap, but when we reap more than what we've sown. But what John wanted to make sure is that this person does not lose out. So what would happen here, in this example, this $4,000 would be put on hold, one, and two would immediately go to donate for this person to the plans it can donate with this amount of funds. So it can donate the 10 and the 50 and the 100 and the 250 and the 500, okay, from the 4,000. Can it do the 2,500? Let's see. 25, yeah, it can. 25 and 5 is 3,000 and 3,250 and 3,350 and 3,400 and 3,410. So in this example, this person's already done the $1,000 plan, so they're good there. They had someone that did the $5,000 plan, and though they don't receive the payout that is withdrawable, the 4,000 is not lost. The system automatically donates on their behalf. Now, why is this important? Okay. The reason this is important is that in this example, this person now is qualified to receive withdrawable payouts anytime someone connected to them or coded to them for that plan does either plan 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7. That is called no loss payouts. Very, very powerful. The first that I've seen of its kind in this industry, been in the industry for 30 years, made millions in this industry. I have never seen this before. Okay, so now that is one huge, huge piece. And again, that is a major piece. We'll talk about some of the questions that most people have about legalities and what have you. That part there, the no loss payouts, is a huge, huge piece in the legal status of our plan. Okay, now let's talk about the structure. So in this example, we're going to use Frank. All right. So let's say that Frank is drawn to $1 Billion Mind for a couple of reasons. He really wants to transform personally. He heard about the universal laws of faith, and he started, oh man, gratitude and vision. And man, with vision, I get to create my life instead of life dictating to me. I get to say, hey, this is what I get to be the architect of my life, and I'm sitting in what it will feel like for my dreams to come true, and I'm affirming those things. And Frank also has a fundraising need. Frank's parents are getting a little older. Papa got diabetes, unfortunately, and some neuropathy, and having some challenges. And Mama, unfortunately, the C word. Okay. And so Frank knows that Mama and Papa don't have enough resources to make sure that they're comfortable in their golden years. Frank wants to make sure that their golden years remain golden and are not tarnished. So he's also attracted to $1 Billion Mind because he wants to raise a lot of money. Okay. So now Frank shares this concept, shares all of this with his baby sister Sue. Now, Sue's project is this. Sue and her husband, they really want to start a family. But as much as they are working right now, the prices of this and that and that and this and inflation and all that other stuff is happening, they don't know that they'll be able to start a family. So she's attracted because she wants to start a family and she wants to do some fundraising to help her start a family. So now, what Sue does is she introduces 4 folks to the platform. Now you can introduce as many people as you would like. We call that unlimited width. All right. So you can refer as many people as you would like. I tell you what, then Sue decides to refer a few more folks. So now Sue has referred a total of 6. Now you're going to see these golden arrows and you're going to see these silver arrows. The golden arrows represent donations where the payouts go to Sue. The silver arrows represent payouts where the payouts from the donations go to Frank. And so I want to spend a little time here to make sure you understand the backbone. We call this our 2-up, the backbone of how this works. So you can see just how powerful this can be in building your own donation fundraising network. Okay. All right. Now, this works for all 12 plans, whether it's the $10 plan, the $50 plan, the $5,000 plan, the $20,000 plan. Here we go. So Sue has referred 6 folks in this example. With each plan, whoever donates to that plan from her referral, she's got 6 personal referrals in this example. Whoever donates to that specific plan first, Sue is going to be the one that gets the payout from that. So the first person to donate to plan 10, Sue gets that 80% payout. The first person that donates to plan 500, Sue gets that 80% payout, 400. The first person that donates to plan 20,000, Sue gets that payout, 80% or 16,000. Okay. Whether or not, now, it doesn't mean that the same person is the first person to donate to Sue. She referred 6. The first person she ever referred might be the 5th person that donated to plan 20,000. So each of the plans have their own order. She referred 6, and so it doesn't matter which plan this happens to be. Okay. So the first person, the third person, the 5th and beyond that donates to each specific plan is going to go to Sue. However, in this sharing, Sue represents you. So your first, your third, your 5th, your 6th and beyond. So really your 5th and beyond, who donates to a specific plan, you receive those proceeds, whoever that is. Okay. The second and the 4th that donate to a specific plan are going, those donations or the proceeds from those donations go upstream. So Sue's second person that donates to the $10 plan, that donation or those proceeds go up to her brother Frank. Sue's 4th person that donates to the $10 plan or the $50 plan or the $2,500 plan or the $10,000 plan, the proceeds go to Frank, the 2nd and 4th. So you retain the 1st, the 3rd, the 5th, 6th, 17th, 189th, 6,482nd. Okay.
So what would happen? What would happen if Frank only referred one person? That's all he ever referred.
Okay. Well, I tell you what. Let's hold on to that, because we already know so far, John, we already know that Frank has gotten proceeds or has gotten a payout from Sue's 2nd person and Sue's 4th person, but that's just the start. It's just the start. Okay. And whether this was a $10 donation, $20,000 donation, Whoever Sue's person is, the second person to donate to that specific plan, that goes up to Frank. Now let's go with what John just asked. Let's say Frank only referred Sue. How lucrative could this be for Frank? Let's go to the next slide.
Number one, Sue could be his number one person in every single plan.
Could be. As a matter of fact, John, when we sent out a promo email today, we talked about one of our folks that's in $1 Billion Mind. He's 80 years young. To my knowledge, he's only referred one person. But that one person did let me show you this. To my knowledge, he's only referred one person. But that one person did the following plans: the $10, the 50, the 100, the 250, the 500, the 1,000, and the 2,500. Since that was his first referral, and his first referral came off the street doing all of those, this 80-year young gentleman who happens to be on the Zoom tonight, that was $3,528 in a payout. One referral so far, $3,528 in a payout in Flair. Congratulations, Jim B. Now let's answer further your question, John. Here we go. Now, stay with me. I know you got some gold and some silver and some green. Stay with me. We're going to make sure you get this, okay? So we mentioned before that this was Sue, and she referred 6 folks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And each plan will have its own order. Depends on when a person donated to what specific plan. So still, all the gold arrows go to Sue. I'm going to break that down. All the silver arrows are going to go to Frank. And there's some silver arrows that the graphic folks didn't put in here because it would have been even more jumbled. But I'm going to break that down. Well, what happens if Frank only refers one person? What could the potential be? Okay. All right. So now here's what we know. Start with Sue. What we know with Sue is that her second and fourth, those donations, the proceeds from those donations went up to Frank. Now, we didn't have space to put this at number 2, so I'm going to look at number 4 for just a moment. What this means is that with her second and fourth going to Frank, that means that the second and fourth, their second and fourth that donate to any of the specific plans, what they donate to the 10, donate to the 50, donate to the 5,000, donate to the 20,000, their second and fourth will also go to Frank. Now, I want you to see this. Frank has only referred Sue. So far, he's gotten payouts from Sue's second, from Sue's fourth. However, it didn't stop there, because number 2's second and fourth, 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 go to Frank. And number 4 had a little bit more room here. Number 4 is second and fourth. And number 2 in here, this second and fourth, their second and fourth, and their second and fourth, and their second and fourth, and their second and fourth, all the way down to infinity. All go to Frank. So Frank may not have a large enough following on social media. He may not even have social media to go to GoFundMe and raise thousands, tens of thousands, or what have you. But he could come into $1 Billion Mind. He could refer one or more. And because of this leverage-based model, Frank could have a whole lot of people that their donations, he gets the proceeds of those. Now, let's look at Sue. Let's look at Sue. Remember, her second and fourth, 2 up, went to Frank. Well, she retains the first, the third, the fifth, and the 6, we call that being coded to her. Now, her second and fourth didn't go anywhere, okay? Because the person is second and fourth on one plan may be a first, a third, or fifth on another plan, all right? And that would likely be the case. But what happens when her first person here starts to build out their own donation network, their own fundraising network, okay? So number 1, also in this example, refers 4. So when number 1 has their first person donate to plan 10, donate to plan 50, donate to plan 20,000, whoever's the first of theirs to donate to a specific plan, who gets that? The green goes to number 1. Just like Sue retained the proceeds from her first and third and fifth and beyond, Frank retains the proceeds from his first. So far, he doesn't have a third and fifth and beyond just yet. He likely would with this type of activity. Then this number 1 here is also going to retain the first, the third, and the fifth and beyond. But what happens to number 1's second and fourth donation for that particular plan? Those gold arrow, those go to Sue. Number 4 goes to Sue. Over here, what happens with number 3? Their second and fourth goes to Sue. Over here, what happens to number 5 and number 6? Their second and fourth. What happens to number 738? As Sue's really building her network, their second and fourth all go to Sue, but it doesn't stop there, because their second and fourth right here, and their second and fourth right here, and their second and fourth, and their second and fourth, and their second and fourth, and their second and fourth. Number 3, their second and fourth, and 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 second and fourth. And number 5, and number 6, and number 17, and number 83, however many from the fifth and beyond, there's second and fourth, and second and fourth, and second and fourth, and second and fourth, and second and fourth go to Sue. And it works like that for every plan. And remember, all the proceeds, when you withdraw, is going to be withdrawn out in Flare. Right now, Flare is less than 2 cents. And this is when we really want to go for it. We really want to go for it. We did an example. Let's say you got a $16,000 payout. You got a $16,000 payout, okay? On the 20,000. Whether this happened with one of your folks or somebody's second and fourth, second and fourth, second and fourth, what have you, okay? Right now, with Flare, the other day, Flare was like a penny and a half. And if you had gotten that payout of 16,000, you were qualified to withdraw the 16,000. You could have withdrawn more than 1 million Flare when Flare was under a penny and a half. It's actually been up a little bit. It was almost 1.6 cents today, which is a nice little bump from where it's been the last couple of weeks. Although I don't want it to go to heaven just yet. Okay, I want it to stay depressed. I want us to make a lot of we all make a lot of donations or get a lot of proceeds while Flare is low, so we can get a lot of Flare, and then it goes up hopefully down the road. Hopefully, don't go to the moon just yet. Well, this is with Flare being like a penny and a half, so like 1.5 cents. If Flare gets to more like $2, then the same million in Flare that you would have gotten would be more like, I think, like 8,000. So there's a huge difference in Flare being where it is now and accumulating more and more and more and more and more Flare, which is what we want to do, and Flare being, $2, which could happen in the coming months, maybe in the next year or so. Who knows? I don't know. We don't know. Okay. All I do know is I missed out on being a multimillionaire because I didn't get it. John John, cover your ears.
Can I share something? Yesterday, one of our members withdrew 104,895 flare.
104,895.
Yeah.
All right. So, John, now I know, maybe that person needs to convert some into usable, spendable cash, but let's say the day comes where, they've got these donations, it's rolling in now. And so they don't have to convert everything to usable, spendable cash. Okay. And so let's say they were able to just sit on the 104,895 flare. Let's call it 105 just for nice round numbers. Okay. They were able to sit on 105,000 flare. Now flare goes to $1. You see that, folks? That's 105,000. Flare goes to $10.
That's a million 48,000, 1,050,000.
And we're not even close to the 40,000 that some pundits are saying it could get to. We went to 10. We went to 10. So hopefully you're starting to see it. Hopefully you're starting to see it. John, anything before I go to the next slide?
No, go ahead.
All righty. All right. All right. So now let's answer a few questions that typically come up. BDM, billion dollar mind, is it an MLM? No. Multi-level marketing is defined as using multi-level structure for paying proceeds to several members. In billion dollar mind, only one person receives a payment for each donation. So even with this structure potentially going to, unlimited depth way down here, still only one person was getting paid 80%. It was either this example, Sue from her first, third, fifth, sixth, and beyond, or her second and fourth went to one person, Frank. And their second and fourth, and their second and fourth, and their second and fourth went to Frank. This person right here, all right, their second and fourth and second and fourth, all right, is going to go to person number one. Only one person. So no, it is not multi-level. It's not multi-level marketing. Okay. All right. Number two is a Ponzi scheme. Man, is this one of them there Ponzi's? No. Well, what's a Ponzi scheme? Social Security is I'm sorry. Not supposed to get political. Ponzi schemes pay out more interest than they take in and pay out old investors with new investors' money. That's why I mentioned the Social Security. The retirees now are the old investors. The people working, having money taken out of their paychecks, are the new investors. Somehow that's legal with the government, but it's not legal with we individual folks. That's not how our plan works. Billion Dollar Mind takes no investments and pays out no interest. And it pays out 80% of the donations that are coming in. So it isn't, we're taking donations from a new person to pay out somebody who got started a long time ago. No, if that person is in their donation network and coded to them the first, the third, the fifth, or beyond, or someone second and fourth that would be connected to them, that is what would generate the payout. So no Ponzi scheme. Okay. And then the last one here that I want to cover is this donating, is this gifting, and is gifting legal? Now, this is what's so important. Gifting plans that require an individual to make a donation in order to receive donations are illegal. Remember, I said no loss payouts? Remember over here when I showed this? This was a brilliant. Now I'm not an attorney, and I don't play one online, and I don't play one on TV. This was brilliant for a number of reasons. If I came aboard, let's say I didn't have anything to get started with. I joined through Brian, Coach Spencer's referral link. I have not made a donation yet, but I referred someone and they made a donation. And let's say they made the $5,000 donation in this example. Now, that 5,000, the 4,000 proceeds would not be withdrawable just yet. But what it would do is it would go to cover this plan and this plan and this plan. So it would automatically donate on my behalf. Now, mind you, my example, I haven't come out of pocket with one dime. I'm not suggesting that you do that because we do want to employ the law of the harvest. And the law of the harvest has us sowing some seeds. But we also want to make sure that we've got a legal platform that can be here for the long haul. And we've got a legal platform because of this right here. So in this example, I have not come out of pocket to donate anything. Yet the system, because I did refer someone else. Now, if I don't come out of pocket, I don't make any donations, I don't build a referral network, and I just sit back and I fold my arms, is anything going to happen? No, no. We are actively building a donation, referral, fundraising, whatever you want to call it, any combination of those words. We're actively building those networks, okay? But in this example, even if I hadn't donated a dime, but I referred someone that did, then the proceeds would go to upgrade me. And now let's say, because I'm now qualified for all of these with someone donating 5,000. Now let's say somebody comes and they're the third or the fifth. Remember, you would retain the first, the third, the fifth. They're the they're the first. All right, so you referred someone who did 5,000. Now you referred another person, and they were the first to do the $10 plan. Well, now you're qualified. That would be withdrawable. You did the $1,000 plan, first to do the $1,000 plan with you. Okay, now you're qualified. This 800 would be withdrawable. So one of the major factors as to whether or not a gifting platform is legal is, does it require that you have to make a donation in order to receive donations? And if that is mandatory, that would be illegal. Or is this not that way? Now, do I still want to donate? You better believe it, because I want to participate in the universal law of the harvest, but it's not mandated. Okay. Also, we're not making any promise or expectation of any huge gains in exchange for you making a donation. Okay. What you are going to receive from this platform, from a monetary standpoint, is going to be the result of someone, either you or someone that you refer, or any combination thereof, starts to develop a referral donation fundraising network. Well, friends, with that being said, we have concluded. Oh, I went over a little bit on my time. I do apologize. We normally like to keep this within about 45 minutes. We want to welcome you, those of you who are visiting with us for the first time. We want you to get back to the person who referred you, get their $1 billion mind referral link, go on and join. Once you come inside, figure out what your donation budget is. I didn't get a chance. I said I was going to show you where I think the sweet spot is. I just don't have time to cover that. I've gone over my time for this evening. All right. But is your donation budget 1,000? Is it 500? Is it 2,500? Is it like somebody came with a donation budget of just under 15,000? They did like 14,000. So they did the 10,000, and then I think they did the 2,500 and 1,000, and so on and so forth. What is your budget? Don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt yourself, but remember the law of the universe. I want to plant as many seeds, and I want as possible. So if I have the resources to do 2,500, that's what I want to do. If I don't have a dime to my pocket right now, can I join for free and then get busy? You certainly can. All right. So decide what your donation plan is going to be. Also ask the person that is referring you about getting our free portal. Every person that's a part of $1 Billion Mind can have access to a free portal where we walk you through how to get started. We give you a lot of great promotional content. So ask them about that as well. With that being said, I'm finished here. I'm going to ask John if he has any parting words. Then we'll see if there's any questions. If you have any questions, this would be the time to put them in the Q&A box. We'll do an optional uh, um, portion of Q&A. John, you have any thing that you want to impart with the beautiful people out here?
Well, you've done a great job, Professor.
Thank you,
I
sir.
might just talk a little bit about unity. And you did, you covered it, talked about the two horses pulling together. There's some promises in Scripture. And anytime we have promises, they relate to a universal law. And really, the promise is this. We go back to Isaiah chapter 1. It says that Zion will be redeemed with righteousness. And the definition of righteous in Isaiah is taking care of the widow and the fatherless and the hungry and the naked, those who don't have shelter. Isaiah 58 spells it out very, very clearly. He said, the fast that I have chosen is not to afflict yourselves, but to take the poor into your house and feed them, etc., etc. And he says, when you do that, your light will break forth as the morning. And when you call, I will answer, I will be there. And see, then the scripture says, whatsoever you ask in faith, believing, you shall receive. Faith without works is dead. And what are the works we need to do with faith? We have to sow some seed, don't we? We have to sow some seed. So if we put all of these things together, and then we think about the Tower of Babel, where they had united together with one language, one mind, one heart, and they decided to build this huge city and a tower that went to the heavens. And the Lord came down and said, the scripture said he was amazed. And he said, these people are of one mind and one heart and one language. And because of that, nothing can be withheld from them. Whatsoever you ask in faith, believing, you shall receive. So really, what gives us the kind of faith to create wealth for everybody here today, everybody on this platform, is coming together in the same kind of unity that they had at the time of the Tower of Babel. If we were really united and we cared about other people, like the examples you showed on GoFundMe, where people just out of the goodness of their heart gave money to get an operation for a dog and to help a young mother that's got some illness. This lady here that was going to get evicted.
Let's go back to
See, if we could come together with that same level of commitment, unity, love, nothing will be withheld from us. And with that kind of power, we can change the world. Back to you.
Thanks a lot, John. I appreciate that. I'm going to come off of the screen share. We're going to get into Q&A. I already see a question there. Ladies and gentlemen, this would be the time to ask your questions. Put them in the Q&A box.